Assalamualaikum. Hello everyone. Wow, what a crowd. Great, since everyone is here, I will start our talk for today. So welcome everyone to BS Talk, where things that all BS should know. So today, me and my friends will be sharing with you guys on our chosen topic. So let me introduce ourselves first. Hello everyone, my name is Nur Adila Balkis binti Ahmad Sabri.
My name is Amir Azwar bin Muhammad Nur.
Hello everyone, my name is Nur Azra Hanis binti Muhammad Sabri.
My name is Nur Safia Asman.
My name is Muhammad Aiman bin Mazlan from AP2293B.
Great, so apparently our talk for today is through online due to the pandemic, but it's okay. Today's topic will be all about QLASIC. So guys, quality is not a dream, but it's a reality. And it's everybody's right. Raising the standard of quality of a Malaysian construction industry has become the main agenda in driving the industry forward. Inculcate the quality culture not only benefit the industry, but also beneficial to the public and the user and overall economy of Malaysia. And there is where QLASIC is introduced. So what is QLASIC? Quality Assessment System in Construction is a system or a method to measure and calculate the workmanship quality of a building construction work based on Construction Industry Standard or CIS. QLASIC enable the quality of workmanship between construction project to be objectively compared through a scoring system.
Pardon me, may I ask, what is the objective of QLASIC anyway?
Wow, good question. So this is some of the objective of QLASIC. So number 1, to benchmark the quality of workmanship of the construction industry. Number 2, to establish a standard quality assessment system on quality of workmanship of construction works. Number 3, to assess the quality of workmanship of a construction project based on the relevant approved standard. Number 4, to be used as a criterion to evaluate the performance of contractor based on quality of workmanship. Number 5, to compile data for statistical analysis.
Me, I have a question. What about its scope? What is scope of the QLASIC?
Alright, QLASIC set out the standard of quality of workmanship for various construction elements of building construction works. So, the quality of workmanship of a construction work is assessed according to the requirement of the standard, Construction Industry Standard or CIS. So, marks are awarded if the workmanship complies with the standard. So, these marks are then summed up to calculate the QLASIC score for a building construction project. So, QLASIC assessment are carried out through site inspection and use the principle of first-time inspection. So, construction works that are rectified after an assessment will not be reassessed. The objective of this principle is to encourage the contractor to do things right at first time at every time. So, what do you think?
Oh, thank you, Adila. Well, for me, QLASIC assessment is one of the important things that need to be constructed. The assessment of QLASIC excludes works such as piling, foundation, substructure, which are usually required heavily equipment based, and this assessment usually under separate contract or subcontract. There are 4 components to be in the QLASIC access, which is structural works, architectural works, mechanical and electrical works, and last, external works. For structural works, it consists of site inspection of formwork, steel reinforcement, prefabricated and precast element. Next, architectural works. It usually consists of or deal with the finishes or part of the floor, ceilings and walls. And for the M&E works, it covers such as electrical works, CMV, ventilation, fire protection works, plumbing and sanitary. Last but not least, for external works, it required the checking assessment that cover such as linkerways, shelters, drains, apron and road works. And also, there are 4 categories of building according to the component and assessment for QLASIC, which is category A is landed housing, B stratified housing, that is strata, C is public building, and D special public building. For category A, landed housing, it consists of building that detached, semi-detached, terrace and cluster house. Category B, stratified housing, that is consists of flat, apartment, condominium, service apartment and townhouse. For public building, office building, schools and other public buildings that are related to the use of public user. For category D is special public building that is consists of 2 buildings only, that is hospital and airports. So this is the example of assessment score based on that 4 categories of building in implementing QLASI. The assessment of QLASI is carried out through a sampling approach. Sampling is based on gross floor area of the building and 10-meter length section per location for the external work. It is to ensure that the assessment is accessed and represent the entire building project. For weightage for location architectural work according to the building category, an item under assessment will be considered fail if it not meet the standard that had been sentenced. For example, if any item found to be defective functionally, such as an evidence of water seepage in the windows slab, ceiling or roof, is considered to have failed the assessment. It is to ensure the building is not having any leakage to prevent decreased strength of the building structure. Principal location are major functional places such as halls and rooms. Circulation location include lift lobbies, corridors and staircase. Service location are utility areas such as toilet, kitchen, balconies and yards. I think that's all from me for now. Thank you, Adila.
Nice one, Amir. So, is there anyone who wants to add up? Aiman?
I would love to. So, next is for the mechanical and electrical works assessment. The assessment is carried out during the construction and upon the completion of the building project, and also before the handover of the project. The assessments cover the basic M&E fittings during and performance tests on the following area with their weightage located according with the 4 categories of the project as seen in table in CIS 7 2014. This is an example for the weightage for the M&E element according to the building categories. The performance test will be done for the electric power supply, water supply and sanitary flushing system. The sampling of the basic M&E fitting will be based on the internal finishing guideline for the architecture work. This is some of the example of the QLASI standard for M&E works. Our last component will be external assessment. This assessment is carried out upon the completion of the bidding and before the handover of the project. The assessment consists of the following location, which is linkways, shelter 10 meter length section per sample and minimum 2 sample. For the external drain, should be 10 meter length section per sample and minimum 2 sample. For the roadwork, parking bay should be 10 meter length section per sample and minimum 2 sample on the ground. For the footpath and the turfing should be 10 meter length section per sample and minimum 2 sample. For the playground should be 1 location. For the court should be 1 location. For the fence and the gate should be 10 meter length section per sample and minimum 1 sample. For the swimming pool should be 10 meter length section per sample and minimum 1 sample. For the electrical substation should be 1 location. For the guardhouse should be 1 location. For the bin center should be 1 location. Each item in the external works will be assessed separately and all the list location must be assessed where applicable. The total QLASI score for the external work should be marks achieved divided by the total achievable marks. So this is an example of the QLASI standard for the external finishes works. My work history is done. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Aiman. So much information in one day. So, is everyone still with us?
We are still here.
I'm still
I'm still
here.
here.
We are still listening.
Great. Next, I will pass down to our next presenter.
That will be me. Hello again everyone. My name is Nur Safia Asman. So now, since we all have known a little bit about QLASI, let's move on the issues regarding onboarding quality. Okay, the construction sector contributes greatly to the economies of growing countries including Malaysia, but the quality of certain construction projects in Malaysia does not always meet expectations and not following the requirements stated by authorities and responsible parties such as QLASI CIDB. The construction industry today has undergone numerous setbacks such as a decrease in standards of quality, rise in costs and delays in construction projects. Poor quality on construction project is a common phenomena throughout the world. Countless disputes take place between clients, homeowners and other parties involved in construction, especially contractors, typically over case of building defects.
Excuse me, I have a question. So what is the causes of this thing happen?
Well, defective work in construction projects could be seen as incompliance or lack of conformity with contract agreement, which include project drawings, specifications, quality of workmanship, and any other conditions not expressly stated such as durability, aesthetics, performance or designs. Particular weak points in the construction sectors in Malaysia include a lack of skills or efficient training for the construction work being done and insufficient status acknowledgements of construction technologies. Next, defects may be considered as a failing or shortcoming in the functions, performance, statutory or user requirements of a building and might manifest itself within the structures, fabrics, service or other facilities of the affected buildings. Most defects in construction projects are due to human error. In other words, those involved in the constructions of a structure are generally to blame for human error leading to poor quality works. Workmanship has been classified as one of the most frequent factors of non-conformance on construction sites. So, based on the case study built in Sungai Petani Kedah, which involve a low-cost housing, there are several defects can be seen as examples. Number 1, peeling of paint on external wall. One of the cause of these problems is the use and choose of unsuitable types of paint for applications on external wall. External walls are part of a building that is most vulnerable to exposure to harsh weather conditions such as heat and rain. This may lead to penetration dampness and mold growth since the surface of exposed area will be in high moisture content. Second defect that were found is falling of concrete on beam. The steel bar on beams are exposed then can be seen. The steel bars were exposed to the deteriorations of steel reinforcement that have been subject to a harsh environment. How it can occur? The corrosion process of the steel bars was a major source of deteriorations to the concrete. It also may have occurred due to several factors. One of is low quality of workmanship. Next is leakage of piping. This commonly may have been caused by improper installations. Defect occur from poor workmanship may caused by poor management and can be due to insufficient supervisions on sites during the constructions or installation procedure. As contractors, this can be avoided through constant supervisions where the contractor secures the project quality as well as the safety against any construction defects. Poor workmanship also can be happens when lack of skills and experience as well as the issue of laborers' own competency. I think that is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Safia. So, Azira, do you want to share something too?
Thank you for asking, Adila. Apparently, I do have a story to share with you guys on these issues. On 2nd June 2009, a major part of the roof construction of Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin Stadiums collapsed under normal weather conditions, including the section above the Royal Boss. At 9 AM in the morning, workers were doing their normal cleaning and maintenance when they heard a huge crashing sound. The support at the outside of the stadium that held the enormous cantilevered roof had failed, and the roof had fallen onto the stadium sitting below. Luckily, workers in the stadium were not under the roof and no one was hurt in the collapse. A few vehicles outside the stadium were damaged by the debris. Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin Stadium is a multi-purpose stadium in Kuala Terengganu, Malaysia, constructed by a South Korean construction firm. Together with this adjacent mini stadium, it forms the centerpiece of Terengganu Sports Complex. It was used mostly for football matches. The stadium holds 50,000 people and is named after the originating Terengganu ruler, Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin, built as the pride of the state. The 300 million Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin Stadium in Gom Badak suffered a major blow when its roof collapsed just a year after it was opened. Luckily, no one was injured at that moment. The roof on the stadium left wing was ravaged after the iron frame structure supporting the 300-meter long roof established, causing it to fall. The affected zones were the main entrance, royal podium, and the public sitting area. It seems that the design and construction of the building had been on extremely fast schedule to ensure the stadium was ready for the 2008 Summer Games. The roof structure design was also changed to the light frame steel structure very late in the design, meaning the time spent designing it was questionable. The complex design of the roof and the wide span required more detailed analysis. The other reason that I can list out is the design was inadequate, insufficient safety measure in design. The designer failed to consider the full consideration of the support condition of the roof structure. Next, the roof was erected poorly, resulting in misaligned geometry. There was no quality control for safety measure at sites. Also, materials and quality of workmanship did not meet specification. The complexity and long span of the roof structure required a more detailed design consideration into second-order design analysis, which was not carried out. And lastly, the sensitivity of the space frame roof structure requires consideration for support flexibility in the design mode, which was not done. So this shows that QLASIC is important to prevent any of this happen in the future.
Thank you, Azira. Therefore, quality remains one of the most important parameter in construction alongside time and cost. However, quality is subjective and it is difficult to quantify. So for all home buyers out there, make sure to be aware of the developer's QLASIC scoring, or at very least to have some idea on how it works and its implication. So with this valuable knowledge, home buyers out there are able to determine whether the project has met the rollout standard and criteria specified by CIDB, which ultimately enables home buyers to make better decisions and minimize the risk of buying a property which construction defect can be found at every corner. After all, quality should always be paramount in the customer's mind regardless of product. That is all from us, and thank you all of my friends for joining us for today's talk, and hope to see you guys soon. So, Assalamualaikum. Bye.
Thank you everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
See you guys in the next
Assalamualaikum.
session.